So these Mendelian disorders, they are caused by alternation or that is alteration or mutation in the single gene. So a change in the single gene that leads to a disorder, they are the Mendelian disorder. Examples of, that's what we saw, hemophilia, color blindness, sickle cell anemia, phenylketonuria, thalassemia, cystic fibrosis. These are all examples for Mendelian disorders. They arise due to a mutation in a single gene. Okay. So here, the pattern of inheritance can be traced in a family by pedigree analysis. So already we saw about the pedigree analysis and what are the symbols that we use in a pedigree chart. So if you make a pedigree chart, you can easily find out the pattern of inheritance, right? So pattern of inheritance in this sense, we have to write for the a family that is from the previous generation, from the grandfather to father, whether they are affected by the disease, and then to the son. So how the disease is getting inherited. So from the pattern of inheritance of Mendelian disorders, it can be traced in a family. So how it is inherited in a family, it can be easily found out by using the pedigree analysis, right? So if you take the Mendelian disorders, it may be either a dominant disorder or a recessive disorder. So what do you mean by a dominant or recessive? Already we saw what is a dominant trait and a recessive trait, right? So dominant disorder means if the parent is affected by, so this is an example for a dominant, that is, it is inherited by a dominant trait. For example, the parent will be affected. But if you take a recessive disorder, it may be in the heterozygous condition and it will be expressed. So even the parents are not affected, the progeny will be affected by the particular disorder. Okay. So the Mendelian disorders may be either a dominant disorder or a recessive disorder. So this pedigree analysis, it helps to understand whether that trait is dominant or recessive. So already we saw, right? So how are we making the pedigree chart? So male and the female, so marriage between the leads to the progeny. So this shows the order in which the progeny were produced, daughter and sons, and this darkened circles and squares, it represents the affected individuals, right? So we can easily understand the pedigree chart. So this pedigree analysis, it helps us to understand whether the trait is a dominant trait or a recessive trait. So the recessive trait, even if the parents are normal, that is, they may be heterozygous, right? So then the progeny will get the disease. But if it is a dominant character, the parent should have that particular gene for that disorder. Okay. So the pedigree analysis of autosomal dominant trait, example is myotonic dystrophy. So it is a form of the muscular dystrophy. So that is an example for autosomal dominant trait. And pedigree analysis of the autosomal recessive trait, that is sickle cell anemia. So this is an example for an autosomal recessive trait, and this is an example for an autosomal dominant trait. Okay, so these terms are more important. So autosomes, then dominant or recessive. So when you study a particular disorder, we have to be clear whether it is a dominant or a recessive and how it is inherited. So these aspects are more important when you study about a particular disorder. Okay.